Are you good for you good to get this shit popping?
What do you think?
I know it's your first time, so phone on silent. It's already on silent. We're good, right?
Yeah, phone's always on silent.
We're not gonna get into that because we're already recording.
Wait, what?
All right.
What if I say I was camera shy?
Welcome to another episode of Smack Talk. Leave it on the court. I am your host, Cerebral. My normal co-hosts, Joe and Dion, are not here today. Joe is taking care of some family stuff. Dmob is he's stuck in Iowa.
Yeah, typical.
He's
Excuses.
he's not very happy actually. No, he was actually really excited about this. He really wanted you on so he could shit talk with you. That was
That's all he does to me.
that is all. That's all Dion does.
That's all he's good for.
Yeah. So that is damn.
You live with him.
Kinda. Anyway, those that are watching on YouTube, you can see that I have a different white co-host here today. Don't take offense to that. It's a term of endearment here on the Smack Talk, Leave It on the Court podcast. But we got my boy Brian here with us today. What's going on, Brian?
Not too much. Dealing with you.
Real quick, do you want to shout out your social media? Do you want people to know where they can find you? You don't care?
I'm all right.
Okay. Johnny Scumbag is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got. Hey, I gotta bring the energy. We've got 2 weeks worth of topics to talk about. Let me first off say, if you listened 2 weeks ago, you would have known that there was little to no chance that we were going to have a podcast last week. I was traveling for work. Not a whole lot I could do about it. Couldn't get the podcast filled. So here we are today, and we have a lot of shit to discuss. So me and Brian are going to break it down, talk about it, figure out. We're going to find some funny in a lot of this shit. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of funny in a lot of the stuff that's been going on. We've got some major baseball free agency deals breaking down, and I don't even care about those anymore. I was excited to talk about that until about last night. When all hell broke loose in the NFL, and that's primarily where we're going to focus. But before we get there, there is a baseball topic that is worth talking about firsthand, and that's where I want to start. I want to start with two old timers getting at it. A rivalry renewed, one might say. Alex Rodriguez versus Jose Canseco.
Roid rage.
Roid rage indeed. Well, one has roid rage. The other one's about to get roid rage. So I'm going to set this up, and I'm going to let Brian say his feelings on this because I'm curious. I've been laughing about this all week. So for those of you that do not know, Alex Rodriguez and J-Lo have been dating for, I think, 2 years. Who cares? I don't care how long they've been dating for. They've just been dating for a long time, okay? Long enough time. He proposed to her. He's ready to get Jenny off the block. So everybody on social media is congratulating them, oohing and awing them, saying how beautiful of a couple they look like. And they do look like a good couple. I will admit that. And here comes the ultimate hater, Jose Canseco. And he goes on a Twitter rant of sorts. Now, this is not at all a PG podcast, so I'm going to read it verbatim. Watching World of Dance, watching J-Lo text Alex Rodriguez, little does she know he's cheating on her with my ex-wife Jessica. Poor girl has no idea who he really is. 3 minutes later, he tweets again. I was there a few months back with her when he called her on her phone. 3 minutes later, Alex Rodriguez, stop being a piece of shit. Stop cheating on Jennifer Lopez. Then a minute later, this is when I knew what Jose was really about.
He did take a baseball to the head that went over the fence. You remember that, right?
This is what I knew. Like this is like honestly, this is the root of what Jose is really trying to get at right now. This next tweet right here. Alex Rodriguez, I challenge you to a boxing match or MMA match anytime you want. He just looking for an excuse to fight him.
They both got to pass the drug test first.
Oh, that fight's never happening.
I mean, for him to say A-Rod's cheating too, it wouldn't be the first time.
It wouldn't be the first time he was telling the truth. I mean, let's break it down. Is Jose Canseco a snitch?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That book.
But has he lied?
Not really.
No. He hasn't lied yet. So, as much as I want to say, he just starting shit, Jose Canseco hasn't lied yet.
Why would he start shit anyways,
I mean, so I don't know the full story, and I'm not going to lie, I haven't done enough research into this because it's just funnier to laugh at the situation as is. Supposedly, Alex Rodriguez smashed Jose Canseco's wife back in the day, like when Jose and Alex was cool. And that's the reason why Jose and Alex are no longer cool. And somewhere there's a story of Jose and Alex running one on Jose's wife. And because at the time Jose was using, he might have underperformed. His wife preferred Alex. So I can understand he wanted smoke with a guy that was sleeping with your wife. That being said, they've been divorced for like 15 years.
Never let go.
That's a petty motherfucker. That is a really, really petty motherfucker. So I'm going to ask you the question, Brian. Who wins in a fight, Jose or Alex Rodriguez?
Going with Jose.
Why?
Because he's not scared to fight him. And he's never told a lie, like you said. He's always snitching, telling the truth.
Snitches get their ass beat. I'm just going to say that.
Do you remember how big he was, though?
Do you remember how big A-Rod is? And A-Rod is younger.
Yeah, but Jose, his traps like his ear. Like,
do you like? There's a ESPN like a body magazine issue with A-Rod where like they just show his back and it looks ridiculous. It's like, oh no, yeah, he's definitely doing steroids. Like without.
Well, that's what happens when you're a 6'5" shortstop.
Yeah, people forget how big A-Rod is. That's a big motherfucker. I don't know if I want to start shit with him. Like, and they both suffer from roid rage. I think A-Rod's calmed down a lot because he's doing TV and stuff. He's trying to be a likable guy, but I don't think anybody would not be on his side if he beat the shit out of Jose Canseco right now.
I still think Jose's got it.
I don't know. I think he does amateur boxing. Jose does. And his last fight, he got his ass beat. Bad.
But it was A-Rod. A-Rod's only doing one kind of boxing, and we'll keep this PG like you said before, though.
Yeah, we're keeping this PG. We're keeping this. We're not going that far. Yeah, we're not going that far. Yeah. Yo, that's wild.
You said there would be comedy in this.
There's definitely comedy in this. I look at the situation, and it's a lot of jealousy, and it's all from Jose Canseco. A-Rod is over there minding his business, trying to wife up J-Lo, trying to keep Diddy. He's got to keep Diddy away. He's got to keep Drake away. He thought he had it all good. He's like, all right, I'm gonna get on one knee. I'm gonna get the bag. And then here comes Jose Canseco trying to ruin his happiness. How dare he? The gall, the nerve. Jose Canseco needs to go back into whatever hole he crawled out of.
He's not going to.
He's not going to. This is the beginning of him starting writing another book. I can almost guarantee that. Jose Canseco. Yo, I don't even want to hear about a book about Jose Canseco and A-Rod smashing Jose Canseco's ex-wife. I want no parts of that whatsoever. I apologize in advance. This episode of Smack Talk is going to get a little ridiculous, but we're going to take it there. Whatever.
Well, look at the topic you started out with.
That was on purpose. I'm setting the tone over here, man. So, do we want to get into a more serious tone? Because I do think that we do need to talk about it eventually. And at the rate that these topics are going, I got jokes for days. So let's get into the serious tone for a second because we do have to get it out of the way. And then we'll go to the NFL. We're not going to the NFL. No, we're going to go to my personal favorite NBA player right now, Russell Westbrook. Oklahoma City Thunder played in Utah the other night. Utah is notorious for having issues when it came to fan reactions with players.
All the time.
It's been talked about on a mainstream level since the playoffs last year when Oklahoma City played Utah. And then Utah in the next round, other people were talking about it as well. So the other night, Russell Westbrook's playing, gets close to the sideline. A fan yells out to him, "You should get on your knees because we know you like it like that." Something to that effect, right?
Something that you're used to, or something.
So, oh yeah, get on your knees because you're used to it. Russell Westbrook took offense to that.
Rightfully so.
As a grown man, I would take offense to that too. As a grown black man, I would take offense to that too. And Russ responded like a man of Russ's caliber. And he said, "I will beat the shit out of you." Mm-hmm. And his wife chimed in. The fan's wife chimed in, basically said the same thing back to Russ. I don't really care what the tone is. There's just certain things you don't say. Mm-hmm. And Russ's response to that is, "Your wife can get it too." After the game, Russ, I won't say he apologized, but he did want to clear up that, he's never hit a woman in his life. He never would. These are wildly disrespectful things that are being said to him. And in that situation, the players are helpless. And I agree with him because they have everything to lose in that situation and nothing to gain. While these fans, while they did pay money for those seats, there's still a code of morality that needs to be followed and held. And it's just, it breaks down to, would you want somebody talking to you like that? I don't care how much money a guy makes. It does not give you the right, or how much money you paid to sit in those seats. It does not give you the right to verbally demean somebody in that fashion. I don't care what the setting is. So what did you think about it and how it was handled by not only the Jazz, but also the NBA?
As far as I'm not sure if the woman actually got banned, but I know the man did.
Right.
So
yeah, I think
as far as that was handled the right way, he shouldn't be able to come back in.
And it was handled swiftly, by the way.
Yeah, they right on top of it. As far as with Russ, there's no problem with how he reacted, in my opinion. As far as saying the whole hitting a woman thing, though, he's got to be real careful with that.
That's where it got iffy.
That's the alarming. If he never said that, it wouldn't be as blown up. Mm-hmm. I don't think. I mean, yeah, of course, it's going to get tweeted, Instagram, all that. Mm-hmm. But this happens all the time. It happened in football this year with Marcus Peters, too. A fan saying something. He ran all the way up into the stands and said that he was going to fight a fan.
Right.
You can't get mad at someone for defending themselves.
Right. Not in that situation.
They're people, too.
Absolutely. They have livelihoods. They have pride. Like, how I don't know how you can give lessons to your own kids and about, standing up for what you believe and doing what's right, and then kind of falling back on that. It comes to it, that goes against who you are as a human being to just stand there and take that. There's certain levels of stuff that we're all willing to take, but it gets to that threshold, that line, and that line was definitely crossed. Like, you don't do that in that situation, especially when you're in a city that has a history of particularly racial things being said to NBA players on a regular basis. So that guy deserved to be banned. I heard him. They interviewed him too after the game. I heard his explanation. He's a clown. He deserves to be banned. Don't go to any more sporting events. I don't care if I ever hear from you again. I don't know your name. Even if I did know your name, I'm not going to say it out loud here. I'm not giving you any more pub than I already have. I don't care. Go in a corner somewhere, please. And if you don't agree with me, whatever. I don't care.
And like you said, with Westbrook and how he is, like, that's his mentality. Same thing as, like, Damian Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
He's notorious for being on Twitter, or even the fans in public, saying something straight to their face. Kevin Durant, as much as I don't like him, he does the same thing.
Right.
Which, nothing wrong with it.
Right. You should stand up for what you believe in all situations. It doesn't matter what your platform is. But seeing how these guys have a huge platform, I especially think that they should stand up for what they believe in. And if they feel like they're disrespected to a level that is not acceptable, I am perfectly fine with them standing up and saying something. In the moment, I'm fine with it. Yeah. You know, afterwards, I'm definitely fine with it. But you catch that heat of the moment energy, that's fine too. Just don't overreact. Don't do something that's going to cost you. That's my fear, because Russ is getting close to that. Mm-hmm. You know, he had the kid hit him, and the way that Russ turned around, he was ready for smoke. Yeah, then he realized it was a little kid. He was ready. Then he realized it was a little kid. This situation, I believe Russell Westbrook when he said, "I will beat your ass." I believe him when he said that. So I think that people are starting to push his button to the point where he may snap, and I don't want to see that, because he is such a talent in his league. He is a top 10 player for sure, maybe even top 5 in the NBA. That's arguable, but whatever. He's on one of the best teams in the NBA that has a legitimate shot to do some.
Third in the West now?
They're third in the West. They've had serious games against both the Nuggets and the Warriors, which are the two teams that are ahead of them. They have a chance to do something. Do I think they'll beat the Warriors? We'll get to that later, but there is a shot. So I would hate for an incident that has nothing to do with basketball be the reason why Russell Westbrook is not playing late postseason basketball.
The biggest thing too is how athletes are held to a higher pedestal. Like, compared, like, someone could go into your work, say something to you, but are you going to get as much criticism as Russell Westbrook did?
Right.
Because it's not going to get publicized.
No.
That's why it gets so blown up all the time.
Mm-hmm. And people make Russell Westbrook to be out as a bad guy, but you really pay attention to what he does in the community. He's a great guy. He does a lot for the community. He does a lot for kids. He's just a different human being when he's on the court, which is how I like my athletes. Right. I like my athletes like Russell Westbrook is on the court. And I like my athletes how Russell Westbrook is off the court. I have no issues with him whatsoever. That's why he is my favorite player in the league right now. He's a bulldog. Absolute bulldog. So shout out to Russell Westbrook on his way to averaging another triple-double. The dude is insane with that. And that's probably the last serious topic that we have for the day. Everything else is... Actually, there is one more. I wouldn't call it serious, but it's another not that funny topic. Where you want to go? You want to go NFL or baseball free agency?
Let's go with baseball. Just because I think I know exactly what it's going to.
Okay. So 2 weeks ago, we had a conversation on this podcast about Bryce Harper and what the hell was he doing, because Manny Machado signed his $300 million deal to the Padres. And on this podcast, we joked and said he's going to do something crazy. He's going to sign for $330. Like, that's what he's looking for now. And I'll be damned if not the next day. The very next day, he signs how many years?
13.
13.
Until he's 39 years old. He's locked in.
You want to talk
No
about
opt-out.
You want to talk about job security? The Phillies are stuck with him.
He could be hitting like 220 at age 35 and be stuck for 4 more years.
And let me tell you something, Philadelphia fans. He's not going to retire before this contract is up. No. Why would he? Albert Pujols is sitting in Anaheim right now thinking, man, I am tired of working, but $30 million a year is great. Mm-hmm. That is exactly what you're going to get out of Bryce Harper. The last 7 years of that deal are going to be trash. So, from a financial standpoint, I cannot blame Bryce Harper.
Oh, no. Why wouldn't you take that deal?
But how do you feel about it from a winning perspective?
The Phillies, I mean, they were making a little up and coming, but they're not going to be a team that's going to make that run for a championship anytime soon. You got the Braves that are going to be pushing in that division.
Right.
They just got Donaldson. Acuna is going off again.
You think Donaldson's going to have a bounce back year?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
It's a young team.
Former Cub, by the way. Former Cub, by the way.
Okay, how long do you play there?
He was in the farm system.
Exactly. Good talk.
Not a lot of people know Josh Donaldson was in the Cubs farm system. He was one of ours.
Did you also know on the Braves, though, Mike Fultonevich, Manuka, grad?
Talk your shit.
Just saying. I'm not talking trash.
Talk your shit.
There's no trash to be talked with him.
That's fine.
I don't need him to hit me in the head or something.
Damn, you trying to see him on the field?
Hell no. But, I mean, as far as you said, a winning standpoint, why wouldn't you go to a team like here? The Dodgers cleared out so much space, which are always making a run every year.
Mm-hmm.
You got
You just watched them lose Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah. They're going to make a run every year. But
I hate saying that, by the way.
yeah, it may not happen now. They got rid of a lot.
Right. They did.
Pretty much half of their lineup.
Mm-hmm. Yasiel Puig.
Kershaw is, I don't know.
They're not even sure if he's going to be starting opening day.
Exactly. He's up and down with injuries the past couple of years.
He's been up and down with injuries this spring training.
Yeah.
So the age of Kershaw is, which very well could be a part of the reason why, because the rest of that pitching staff, though it was better last year without Kershaw, it still is not enough.
No. They got some young guys like Maeda. He's decent, but it's not someone that's going to be your number 2. He's going to be stuck at that 4th spot.
So the Dodgers cleared out room, but they only wanted short term. They wanted like, what, a 4-year deal? They were going to give him 30 mil. But
him 43.
They were going to give him 43, but for 4 years. That's a lot of fucking money.
So that's one thing I did not understand. If he's all about the money with the Phillies, why not sit there and do a deal with the Dodgers for the 4 years, get paid? He's in his prime right now. This is supposed to be his prime.
He's 25.
He's 26 in October.
26. Okay, yeah. He's 25 now, 26 in October. That means the next time he hits free agency, he's 29 going on 30. That contract is not kind to players.
But if you go another 4-year deal, he can eclipse that 330, no problem.
Right.
So,
but that requires, and this is where I think the issue comes in, that requires hard work and effort.
He has to show that he's...
for the next 4 years. Which I think you have already seen the best of Bryce Harper. And I have said on this podcast many a times, I'm not impressed with. I'm not impressed with Bryce Harper's body of work as a whole. And I think that you've already seen the best half of Bryce Harper's career.
Which is sad because he's only 25.
I think he's going to mail it in. I think that deal, to me, signified I'm done trying. Mm-hmm. I just want to collect checks and have fun.
The thing is with him, he's always getting compared to Mike Trout. There's no comparison.
There's no... I've said this before, I'll say it again. Mike Trout, if you do not watch baseball on a regular basis, I don't watch baseball on a regular basis. Brian, you do watch baseball on a much more regular basis than I do. Mike Trout is hands down, we have said this on the podcast several times, Mike Trout is hands down the best baseball player, period, right now. There is no argument in that. You cannot make an argument about that for me. Not happening. Bryce Harper is nowhere near him.
He's career 280 average, where Trout's like 320.
Is Bryce Harper a more marketable player? Sure, he will sell you tickets. But a part of that is because Mike Trout is in Anaheim playing for the Angels instead of the Dodgers. If he was playing for the Dodgers, he would be the biggest face in baseball, bar none. He's in the right city on the wrong team.
Mm-hmm. Trout doesn't put himself out there like that. He just goes out there and does what he needs to do to win baseball games.
He likes Subway commercials. And who likes Subway?
Jared.
Wow. That was a little rough even for me. I got You did not do that. You did not do that on those airwaves. Smack Talk does not.
Happy Gilmore?
Smack Talk does not agree with all the words that are coming out of his mouth. Just pointing that out now.
We're just getting started.
I got two co-hosts who's gonna be mad as hell at me when they get back. So Mike Trout is without a doubt the best player. If Mike Trout takes a deal like that, I don't look at it as mailing it in. I look at it as security. I look at it as this is where he wants to be and he knows that. I don't even think that that's where Bryce wants to be.
He just wanted to get paid.
He wanted to get paid and he wanted to be able to mail it in. And the Phillies were the only team that were willing to give him that kind of deal. I don't think anybody else would have. If the Cubs would have signed him to that deal, I would be furious. Because we would have had to give up. We would have had to give up. You can say all you want to how much you don't like Jason Hayward as a right fielder. You would have had to give up a gold glove, right? A yearly.
As much as I am clearly not a Cubs fan, I'm not going to lie.
I'm not willing to give up Jason Hayward for a guy that I feel is mailing it in. No chance. If I thought that he was coming here to win a championship and rise up to the occasion, sure. But with that deal, that does not scream championship. That screams, I'm set.
Who else are they going to get now?
They're paying him too much money.
Exactly. That's what I mean. They can't get anyone else.
Now, did you hear him say he was going to recruit Trout in offseason when Trout's a free agent?
Yeah.
And Trout is from Philadelphia. I don't think he's got to recruit very hard. And Mike Trout's success in Anaheim has not been great. They made the playoffs once. He's played in one playoff game because it was a wild card game. Mike Trout has not seen any postseason success at all in Anaheim. He plays his ass off for them to miss the playoffs on an annual basis. I think he can do that in Philly and be a lot happier. He comes back during the offseason every single year. He goes to Eagles games all the time. I think I've seen him at 76ers games. He is a through and through Philly guy. So Bryce said, I'm gonna recruit Michael Trout. Mike Trout probably told him, yeah, I want to be there. You go there, wait for me, whatever.
You know what else Bryce said too?
He said he's gonna bring a championship to DC.
Yeah. Shows you how smart he is. As you can tell, I don't like Bryce.
He's gonna bring a championship to DC. Yo, National fans everywhere are pissed. I mean, there's not that many of them. There's barely any in DC, but they're pissed.
Personally, I think he should stay in DC. I know he hasn't done much there as far as playoff wise, but we got Max Scherzer, and you got all those young guys in the outfield with him.
They were so bad last year. I mean, they already had a problem getting over the hump, the Nationals did, and that made it really hard because, I mean, he wasn't having fun in D.C. to start it off. And then he had to watch one of his best friends and Chris Bryant not only have all the fun that Bryce has been trying to have, but win a championship. And then you lose to them the next year. That's why the writing was on the wall for me. He was coming to Chicago. Everything that Bryce Harper seemingly wanted was right there. Mm-hmm. He kept making all these trips to Chicago with his wife, spending all this extra time here. He played Cubs fans. He played Sox fans. Because even if he would have came to the South Side, I still would have been like, you know what? I get it. Like the signs were there, just not what I expected or wanted or anything. And if he would have came to the South Side, like, all right, good for you. But I don't even think Jerry was willing to sign him to that ridiculous ass deal because it's really easy to see what that says.
Jerry doesn't like spending money in general, but I think he would only done like a 4 or 5 year deal. He wasn't going to do that 10 to 13. For
I think the Sox were willing to go 7. I think that's what the reports were. They weren't willing to go 10.
The Machado one that they offer him like 8 for.
Yeah, they were willing to go 7 or 8, something like that. But they weren't willing to go the full 10 for 30. They weren't willing to do that. But they were willing to give him extra money. So it was like, look, we won't give you the 10. We'll give you 7 and a A little bit more money.
That's what they did for Machado too.
Right. But both of these guys, they want that security. They're tired of working hard. You see what Machado said?
No.
Said, I'm going to be the villain no matter what. I mean, he's right.
Yeah.
He's already looked at as a dirty player. But this move is just like, you're a villain and you're an idiot. So, okay. It's clear to see where I stand on all this. Manny Machado, though, I will say this, and I said this before. San Diego is a great city. The team may suck.
How many years are they away from a championship?
107.
Damn, you put one less than the Cubs.
Yeah. I'll be dead. So, I look at both of them as these are money deals. These are absolutely money deals. These weren't moves for to be championship contenders, which is what you want out of the supposed best players in your league. You want them to make moves to win championships. A lot of people are saying that the farm system in San Diego is looking really good, but let me tell you something. Farm systems do fail. Prospects don't pan out.
Don't say that.
Look. I believe in what the White Sox are doing. I actually do. And I've said this several times. I actually do believe in what the White Sox are doing. But the fact that as a free agent, that's what as a fan to bank on the prospects and the farm system, that's one thing. But as a free agent to bank on that without really seeing what they can do in the majors, that's rough. You know what guys can do around the league. Manny Machado could have got that deal somewhere else where he could have won. He thought about weather and he thought about job security. He's never going to have to worry about anybody taking a spot at shortstop.
He's going back to third, I thought, because Tatis is coming up.
I don't know what the fuck he's doing then. Didn't he want to play shortstop? He wanted to play third. Look, man.
Time.
These guys are bums. These guys are all bums. I'm done. I am done talking baseball free agency. Okay, wait, no, I'm not done talking baseball free agency.
Okay.
I'm going to pose this question to you, and you answer it however you feel. How much money is enough money? Because clearly for both of these guys, it was $30 million or bust a year.
It's already topped out. Like, no one should make more than... Well, first of all, Bryce and Machado should not be making the money they're making. Career
Right.
280s? What about guys that are career like 300 plus, like Trout, Altuve if he was to get paid? You got players like that are way more valuable. Arenado, he got paid. I think he deserves it.
He deserved it where he got it.
Yeah.
That was it, though. Anywhere else, that's a bad deal. But in Colorado, it's a good deal. And I won't blame them for that.
But $30 million a year?
It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I get it, you play 162 games. But that is a lot of money.
To be on the Padres, not going to make the playoffs.
Not even close.
Phillies, third in their division?
Who's second?
Are you going Braves? Braves got to win that division no matter what.
I agree.
Personally, maybe the Mets have a bounce back year. They always decide to do that randomly.
They'll trade Syndergaard before the deadline.
You heard where he might go?
Where?
Houston.
Yeah, that's cheating.
Verlander, Syndergaard.
Yo, Houston, chill. Y'all got y'all World Series. It's time to go back to mediocrity like the rest of us, okay? Chill. Yeah, they're gonna trade Syndergaard, so I'm counting out the Mets. I am. So probably second. What else in that division?
Nationals.
Ain't happening. You know what I can see? I can see the Nationals having a comeback year just to spite Bryce. Mm-hmm. Still not going to win the division.
Imagine that wild card at the end of the year goes between the Phillies and the Nationals.
And the Nationals win in D.C. Oh, the boos that Bryce would hear.
Nah, Philly. Why not? Right, has new home field.
I'm excited for playoff baseball. That's sad because that's a
good...
long ways away.
Yeah.
Amen. It's the only thing I got to look forward to in fall. Anyway, so.
Don't you have a birthday?
Oh, yeah, that too.
Oh, okay. Good talk.
Look, man, I'm at the age where my birthday don't really mean the same that it used to. I'm trying to stay away from 30. I'm getting closer and closer.
I get you a life order.
Hey, man, you got to chill. You got to chill with some of these wild-ass thoughts. Speaking of, Vegas now is different than what Vegas would have been. Like, I went to Vegas for the first time a week and a half ago, whatever. I don't even know when it was anymore. It was 2 weeks ago. Maybe. I went to Vegas for the first time 2 weeks ago, and I realized how different of a time I would have had 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Like when I was in a different space in my life, where now I'm like, all right, I'm trying to avoid trouble at all costs. And it was there. There was definitely trouble. Huh? We're changing the subject. So, what else we got on the docket? All right. NBA, a lot of stuff happened. Or not NBA, NFL, a lot of stuff happened. The first trade that kind of, I don't really want to say set everything in motion because we all knew it was coming. We just didn't know to who, was Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown finally got traded from the Steelers to the Oakland Raiders.
Ugh.
For some reason, he's happy about it. And they signed him to a new deal. AB, I'm sorry, Mr. Big Chest. Let me talk to you for a second. John Gruden is driving the Raiders into the ground. You have a quarterback that nobody feels secure about anymore. An offensive line that has health issues now. You don't have a running game that we're 100% confident in.
Unless he has Skittles.
He's getting up there in age. And I don't even know if he's coming back.
It's always up in there if he's going to retire.
It is. I mean, if he wants to play in Oakland, and this is the last year in Oakland, so I'd imagine he would come back. But even last year, meh. And on the other side of the ball, because let me tell you something, Antonio, the other side of the ball matters too. There is a horrendous defense there that cannot get pressure on a quarterback to save their lives.
I know they had defense.
They didn't after they traded Khalil Mack. He took the whole defensive soul with him.
Thanks, Raiders.
Yeah. Oh, much appreciated. We'd make that trade 10 times over, by the way. The only thing that you have to look forward to is the fact that they have 3 first-round draft picks, which I don't know how the Steelers managed to not get a single one of them. You let the Raiders walk with all 3 firsts and their second? You got Antonio Brown for a 3rd and a 5th. The GM for the Raiders, bravo. Good job. How you managed to do that, you probably got a contract extension for that alone. But this isn't about the Steelers. This isn't about the GM. This is about the future of the Raiders.
What future?
I give it 6 games before Antonio Brown is Antonio Browning. Mm-hmm. If it not be complaining about him not getting the ball enough, the team not doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Definitely that one.
Or how he doesn't think anybody else is taking this seriously. One of the 3, if not all 3, is going to happen by Game 6 for the Oakland Raiders.
Couldn't agree more with that one.
Don't know who they're playing. Don't know.
Doesn't matter.
They very well could be 0-6. That being said, he did have 15 receiving touchdowns last year.
And and he missed, was it 2 games or 1?
Definitely one.
I know he missed the last one because he just didn't show up.
Right.
He's like, nah, not today.
Wait, no, he didn't show up to practice. He showed up to the game like, all right, I'm ready. He said, nah. He said, nah, Antonio, go back home. We got it. They didn't have it. They won the game, but they didn't have it.
I'm assuming another thing that's on your list there, which goes along with AB with me, is a certain team got a first-round pick for trading their wide receiver, a.k.a. Odell Beckham, to the Browns.
So let's jump right into it. I didn't even know that they wanted to get rid of Odell Beckham.
To be honest, I was watching ESPN maybe 3-4 hours before and said the Giants will listen to offers for Odell Beckham, but do not want to move him.
Usually when that report comes out, nothing happens.
Yeah, usually it's just like, yeah, whatever, because it's a star player.
And I look at what the Giants got back.
Yeah, you got a first rounder.
And you got a safety that maybe.
By the way, good college.
Oh, my God.
Just saying.
How'd they do against Michigan State over the weekend?
That's not what we're talking about here. Just saying. It's not.
And they say Smack doesn't talk college.
Didn't you just lose a bet to Joe?
I did lose a bet to Joe, but Joe's
With
not
what,
here right
college?
now. Joe's
Oh, yeah.
not here right now. Joe's not here right now. So we're not talking about this bet. We're not talking about that bet. Joe's not here, so we're not talking about the bet. We'll talk about the bet next week. We're gonna have to pay up on that shit.
Yep.
Don't worry.
It was a sushi, right?
It was sushi. He about to hurt my wallet, and I'm not happy about it.
Sucks to suck.
I wouldn't know. Anyway.
I thought you said it was PG.
Yo.
Anyways, back to football talk.
Back to Odell Beckham. He got traded for a first-round pick and a safety that I'm not even sure the Giants really think is going to turn into anything.
I think that's just because they just lost their safety.
They didn't
In
lose.
free agency.
They didn't lose their safety. They let their safety walk.
Okay, but still, like, they need to get someone.
They sent out the goodbye letter. He was like, "Oh, word." We thank Landon Collins for all of his services here with New York. I wanted to stay. So, I do agree with you. That is why they wanted Jabril Peppers. I don't know how to say his first name. I forgot how to say his first name. I haven't heard his name since he played in Michigan. Is that enough for Odell Beckham? You just gave him all that money.
They're done for. I don't understand why they would make that move. You just paid him, how much money was he guaranteed?
Too much.
94?
Too
95?
much. Too much.
Either way.
I think they realized that it was too much.
That's guaranteed money. It didn't matter if he was there or somewhere else now.
I think that they're hitting the reset button, and they did it a year too late. You hit the reset button after you spent your number 2 overall draft pick on a running back. I don't care how good Saquon Barkley is. If you're in a reset mode, he is useless to you.
Should have drafted a quarterback.
You should have drafted a quarterback. You should have traded Eli Manning when there was a slimmer of trade value to him. There's no value to him whatsoever. Would a team pick him up if he was a free agent? Sure. They're not going to trade him for him, though. So you need to cut Eli. As much as diehard Giants fans don't want to hear this, you need to cut Eli because it's over. His career's done. As far as being an elite quarterback, let me rephrase how I want to say this. He's not winning you another Super Bowl. That time's over.
He's not winning you 8 games.
Probably not.
Barely 6.
You get him in a situation where there's a good offensive line and some weapons, we'll see. But that ain't in New York. Not even close. He needs a reset if he has a chance of another title run. They need a reset because any coach that comes in there is handcuffed because they have to play Eli as long as he's on the roster. You're not going to get anything done. Eli is not the future. He's not Tom Brady. He's not his brother. He's not going to make it to 40 playing quarterback. He's not.
Not whatsoever.
So
barely made it through this season.
So Giants fans need to give up on that. They need to fully press the reset button because they've only half pressed it. Odell was the beginning of pressing it. They need to fully press it, and they need to cut Eli. Meanwhile, Odell Beckham is back with his best friend, Jarvis Landry. They played high school football together. They played college football together. And now they're going to play pro football together.
Who gets more catches this year?
Jarvis. He's already got the chemistry with Baker. Odell will be the big play receiver. Jarvis is now going to be the short, intermediate receiver.
I feel like Odell will be that guy who gets like in the 70s for receptions, but long plays.
1,200 yards. 70 catches, 1,200 yards.
And then
8 touchdowns.
Yeah, Jarvis, they'll get around 1,200 yards, but with like 90 grabs.
I think Jarvis might break 100 receptions.
Those slant routes are going to be
salacious and repeated several times. Mm-hmm. Honestly, with their offensive weapons, and then you got the tight end, and you got Nick Chubb in the backfield. It's the perfect time to run a West Coast offense.
Can you imagine if Kareem Hunt doesn't get too bad of a suspension? Kareem Hunt signed with the Browns.
That's a good slot guy now.
If he doesn't face a big penalty for giving some girl the boot.
Smack Talk is sensitive to all abusive situations. I just want to say that.
Just saying.
I gotta read the line. Mm-hmm. I gotta read the disclaimer.
Either way, that offense. Honestly, with the Steelers, AB's gone, Le'Veon's gone. Who's gonna win that division now? You think the Ravens are still gonna be as competitive? They just lost their leader in Terrell Suggs on defense. Even though he's not the big impact player, obviously, and Eric Weddle, he's gone.
Yeah, they cut him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
I thought that was weird.
2 Pro Bowl leaders are gone.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that they cut Eric Weddle. Baltimore is... I don't know if I believe in them. I think that now that teams got to see how to stop Lamar Jackson, you're going to see a lot of that. And he's going to struggle because he cannot throw the ball.
So right there, Ravens, you're saying, are going to struggle. Steelers, obviously, are not going to be the same.
You have to worry about his Big Ben coming back now if you're the Steelers.
Yeah.
There is no reason for Ben Roethlisberger to come back to the Steelers team. None. Juju Smith? I mean, okay, so you have who was the running back for him last year? Connor. You have James Conner. And you have Juju Smith-Schuster. Poor man's AB and Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, I'll give you that. But you couldn't win it with Le'Veon and AB.
Now you're losing.
And you had Juju in the tuck, on the other side of it. So the Steelers are really good at drafting wide receivers. If you're Big Ben, do you take that risk?
At this age, why would he?
You didn't want to come back last year.
He got a concussion in practice when he wasn't supposed to be touched.
I think that the Steelers are about to be in a rebuild, and they're not ready for it. They're not ready for it at all. They're a good overall organization, and they will bounce back from it. But this upcoming season, you're going to see a really bad version of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that opens the door for the mistake by the lake. I hate to say this, but the Cleveland Browns have a legitimate chance of making the playoffs next year.
They will.
Ooh.
Who else in that division is going to stop them?
Ooh.
Ravens? No. Steelers? No. The Bengals? No.
So, okay. With all these moves that the Browns have made, it's playoff or bust now, isn't it?
Yeah. They were close last year. And now adding Odell.
Baker has a full season.
Gets attention off of Jarvis now in those plays. Like, you can't sit there and have a linebacker shadow the whole time if Odell's going to be running across the other way.
True.
You're going to need that linebacker to drop back to try and stop the deeper one.
This is what the Browns wanted when they had Josh Gordon and Jarvis Landry. They wanted that. They wanted Josh Gordon to be the big play and Jarvis Landry to be everything in between, and Baker do his thing and Nick Chubb and all that other stuff. So they're going to get. They decided they were going to get that in a less problematic player. If things don't go well in the first quarter of the season, does it all fall apart?
With as much of an attitude that Odell has, I still don't think
And Jarvis.
So. Yeah, Jarvis too. But Odell has shown even in New York, when they were down at the beginning of seasons, they've made the playoffs, 2 times?
Not with Odell.
With Odell, they made the playoffs. Pretty sure. When they went 10-6.
Okay.
They were 2-6 at the beginning of that year.
He thought they were going to make a playoff push this year.
Well, he didn't realize that Eli is, however old, plays like he's 55.
Mm-hmm. Eli played like he older than Tom Brady.
He played like he's a senior citizen with a walker on the field.
He run for his life as soon as he hiked that ball. That boy's scared. His brother's ashamed.
They both couldn't run, so it doesn't matter.
No, his brother's ashamed of how bad he's playing. Saying, you ain't my brother. You a wannabe. Wannabe be gone. I don't. So, I mean, with this, who's the leader on that team? That's what it comes down to. Who is the leader on this team that riles everybody together when shit hits the fan? Because one thing I am sure of is that shit is going to hit the fan.
To be honest, there is no given leader at the moment.
Does Baker step up?
He has to show it. He's a quarterback. He has to be the leader of that team.
I don't always agree with that, but okay.
Most of the time, the quarterback has to be the leader.
Most of the time, but Eli's never been the leader.
Eli, I don't understand how he
Two
beat
times
Brady.
Super Bowl.
I don't know how he beat Brady. That's all I gotta say.
Twice.
David Tyree, damn you.
Bro, the other one was more clear cut.
Tyree
That was
lose money.
the other one was Eli was stringing that ball.
But as far as that, I mean, you got obviously Odell between fighting with the kicking net.
Oh shit, I forgot
And then
about that.
proposing to it 2 weeks after that. Obviously his attitude's up and down all the time.
All right, so an off sports subject, because I was talking to our boy Josh.
I thought this was okay.
I was talking to our boy Josh, and we were talking about Odell, and he got excited. He's like, "Man, can't wait. Parties in the city." I said, "You really think Odell's gonna come here to party to Chicago?" I said, "He's not gonna do it in Cleveland." I said, "Yeah, you're right. Look, I've been to Cleveland trying to find some shit to get into.
I've been by Cleveland too for work. Yeah.
I've tried to get into some shit in Cleveland. There was no shit to get into. Not without getting shot. Which,
I mean, you go the wrong direction in the city, you might be doing the same thing.
it's. I know those directions. It's different.
I know.
Shit. So he made an interesting point. He said, "Nah, Odell gonna come to the Shy. He gonna want to party." I said, "Wait a minute. New York ain't that far either. It's 5 hours to Chicago, 7 hours to New York. But then thought about it. It's 5 hours down to Cincinnati. I'm not a fan of Cincinnati, but you can get in some trouble down there. But then at the wild card, who's Odell Beckham's best buddy? Whose house did Odell stay at during the offseason?
Honestly, I don't know.
Drake's. Sure. Toronto's a 5-hour drive. And it's only because of the lake. That's a quick flight. That's a 40-minute flight. So my question to you is, which city does Odell go to party in his free time?
He's going to hang out with Drake.
That's what I said. He's got to go to the 6. He's got to. Hop on a PJ.
Yeah, because who's he got in the city? By us.
Nobody. I mean, he know everybody in New York.
Yeah.
So that's always a possibility. But when Drake says come through with that with that fake West Indian accent.
Yeah. He's got an accent for everything.
Odell finna hop on that PJ and go to Toronto during the bye week. Cleveland fans better watch out. You better hope you make it back.
They already have one player not make it back.
I'm saying
there's nothing to do in Cleveland.
There is not. Who wants to go to Cleveland? Who? LeBron's from there. He left for LA.
He's like, yeah, I'll just throw some money in and build a school, which good deed.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, bravo.
he's like, I'm not living there.
Shout out to LeBron. We're gonna get to you too soon. Kyrie wanted to get out of there. He wanted to see what Boston was like. I don't blame him there. That's a cool city.
Let's see how long that lasts.
Kevin Love realized nobody else wanted him, so he might as well stay in Cleveland.
Has he even played this year? Haven't heard anything. Oh, no, they did have a highlight of his, one pass.
Dude, he's averaging 20 and 10 again.
Is he?
He is, but it's in Cleveland, and no one cares anymore. And we all look at Kevin Love now. It's like, no, we know who you are. We're not finna pop you up anymore. We don't care. Go do your 20 and 10, whatever. It's irrelevant. The team sucks. They're trash. You and Tristan Thompson go disappear. I'm not getting into Tristan.
Pump the brakes.
I'm not. Shout out. Okay. So, with all the movement going on in NFL, the trade talks, the trades seemed to be what was going to rule free agency day until I woke up this morning. And then I laughed really hard because Le'Veon Bell signed to the Jets. Did you see what I sent you earlier?
Oh, yeah.
About what he said about the Jets?
There's no way he'd be running with the Jets. They don't got enough money to pay him.
February 1st, a fan tweeted Le'Veon Bell and said, I speak on the behalf of the New York Jets. We'll give you $60 million in cash if you come play with us. Le'Veon responded to said fan. He said, that ain't enough to come run with the Jets. With the eye roll emoji. Fam, you really think I'm finna come to the Jets? Remember that number. 60 mil. Okay?
Gotcha.
I'm really happy my phone is not cooperating at the moment. This is phenomenal.
Are you looking up the amount on the deal?
I am trying to look up the amount on the deal.
4 years, 52.5.
Le'Veon Bell signed to the New York Jets for 4 years and $52 million. What does that say to me? Nobody wanted him.
I mean, you realize with his tweet at that fan, he did get suspended for drugs how many times?
He did. He's been suspended for drugs. He's had a durability issue.
Knee at running back.
And from a team perspective, from an organizational standpoint, he has proven his willingness to sit out if you don't give him what he wants. You have no room and time for that whatsoever as an organization. It's a headache. You watch the Steelers have to answer questions for it all season. No organization wants that kind of publicity. They don't, unless you're the Cowboys. I will talk shit about the Cowboys forever, by the way.
Also will.
So this deal does make Le'Veon Bell the second highest paid running back in the NFL. So let me not make it sound like he signed for nothing. But if you consider yourself the best running back in the league, if you've put up numbers like you are the best running back in the league, you would think that you would sign a deal that resets the market for running backs or damn near close to what Todd Gurley signed last offseason. The night before this all happened, or the day before all this happened, it was reported that Le'Veon's agent was talking to teams trying to drum up interest for the quote unquote best at your position. You shouldn't have to drum up interest. They should be knocking at your door. Why aren't they knocking at your door? And it is because of the situations that he's put himself in, not the injuries. I'm not counting injuries against him because injuries happen to everybody and that cannot be helped. The drug suspensions, the sitting out. I wondered all season, how would this affect him when it came to free agency? And would you say it's hurt him?
1,000,000%. Because, just did the math, 4 for 52 is $13 million a year. The franchise tag was 14.5.
So he didn't even get that back.
Nope. He made less. His incentives bring him to like $61 million supposedly. But still,
right?
What? That's $15 million a year and change.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna make $500,000 more. Yeah, that's a lot still. But $500,000 more a year for what? To go to the Jets.
And you want to talk about not winning? The Jets are going to be abysmal for a long time.
Who's going to be the worst team in the league this year?
Damn, we can't give that to the Browns again, huh?
The Giants, man. Sorry, Saquon.
I'm not counting out the Cardinals. I've seen Josh Rosen play quarterback.
Sure.
It's really bad.
But imagine Eli with no Odell.
Saquon is going to have 140 receptions next year. Here's my free fantasy tip. If you've got a keeper league and you've got Saquon Barkley, you better keep him. If you have the first pick in your fantasy draft, you had better pick him. Saquon Barkley is going to, if you are in a PPR league and you have a chance to draft Saquon Barkley and you do not take it, you deserve to lose your league. You absolutely deserve to lose your league. That is the only free fantasy football advice I am giving because, God damn it, I am winning this year.
One thing with fantasy and free agency.
You got to close the mic.
One thing with fantasy and free agency. What about Mark Ingram? He hasn't signed anywhere. Where does that put Kamara up there then?
I have Kamara and Michael Thomas on my team. And
I didn't ask you that.
No, fuck off. I am struggling on which one of them I'm going to keep. I don't know. And if Ingram doesn't sign back, it's going to be really hard for me to not keep.
Is it PPR?
Yeah.
I still go.
Exactly.
Still going Kamara.
Michael Thomas is a top flight number one receiver.
Kamara had 40-point weeks before Ingram came back.
And after Ingram came back too. So yeah, no, I know. I rode that wave of those two to a hell of a record, but we're not in fantasy football talk yet. But that is a good point. I see Mark Ingram going back to New Orleans.
Didn't they assign somebody though?
Did they?
Thought they signed a running back, Latavius Murray. He runs like Ingram, just not as fast.
That matters though.
But you're going to have Latavius, Ingram, and Kamara?
They had Ingram, Kamara, and Peterson.
Yeah, but Pearson didn't get paid like Latavius did.
Fair.
Pearson got that low budget deal
He
just
got
to come back.
He got that. We'll give you the ball. Just shut up. Deal. And they didn't
Tell
give
you
him
he's
the ball.
ready to rip off Sean Payton's head after like the second game.
I'd like to see that fight. I think Sean Payton could fight.
Against AP. Till he brings out the belt.
Yo. All right. I see what kind of time you're on. Shouldn't have had that drink before we start this podcast.
What drink?
Yeah, you're right. What drink? Oops. Mark Ingram will find a nice landing spot coming to Chicago. And wherever it is, it'll work for him greatly. I think. Shit, we got off topic. What the fuck were we talking about? We were talking about free agency.
Free agency with like Le'Veon.
Oh, with Le'Veon. Where was he going to go? Where was he going to go that he was wanted and could have had a shot to win a championship? Because he was trying to create a super team just a week ago.
To be honest, they weren't really mentioned by him. Where I think he should have went was Houston. Young quarterback in Deshaun Watson.
It's a lot of uptick. A lot of uptick coming.
Defense is beyond solid.
Mm-hmm. And I think they're only going to get better.
DeAndre Hopkins is your receiver, which in my opinion,
make that. Go ahead, make your
best receiver in football.
I agree with you.
He doesn't drop the ball ever.
DeAndre Hopkins is the new age Andre Johnson, except for DeAndre is has a good quarterback to play with him now. He doesn't drop the ball.
Coincidence with franchise is too.
It is. I mean, he had a couple seasons under Andre. Andre is a phenomenal wide receiver that's not going to get the recognition he deserves simply because he never had a quarterback to throw him the ball. And he put up those kind of numbers. And DeAndre, before Deshaun Watson came and was healthy last year, was doing the same thing.
With Tom Savage.
To be a top 5 receiver with no quarterback is phenomenal.
Well, they have 3 different quarterbacks a year and he was still a number 1 wide receiver?
Yes. No, hard. I get it. All you're doing is throwing him the ball. He still has to catch it in double, sometimes triple coverage. Mm-hmm. DeAndre Hopkins very well might be the best receiver in football. And I know it's subjective, but pay attention to the numbers that he puts up this year. Especially if they get a better number 2 receiver. Because I don't think they have it.
Fuller will be coming back. He was fighting injury all year.
I think Fuller's a slot guy. I think he's a better slot guy than he is a number 2. I think you get a legitimate number 2 on the other side of the field to go with DeAndre. He's going to go off.
You know who's a good compliment for that? He's still a free agent. Golden Tate.
Golden Tate's a phenomenal receiver as well.
Because he can handle all that but like running across with the slot.
He can handle the small stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kind of like with Jarvis and Odell.
Right. And if Houston gets that second receiver with everything else they got going, they're taking that division. Away from the Colts, who did way better than I thought they were going to do last year.
Because they got a running game out of nowhere.
They got a defense out of nowhere.
Yeah, true.
Over Tennessee, who's mediocre at best. They're just mediocre.
Yeah.
Over Jacksonville, who's going to have a bounce-back season themselves. Jacksonville's going to have a bounce-back season purely because Blake Bortles is not their quarterback. Mm-hmm. The defense is going to rise to that. They're going to play like they did 2 years ago. Nick Foles, I don't know if you're going to get that same magic out of Nick Foles that you got in Philadelphia. I don't think that that's possible. Can't be any worse than Blake Bortles. And there's at least the belief that he can do it because he's done it.
Yeah. Against Brady in the Super Bowl.
And before they lost to the Rams, he was mounting a comeback. Mm-hmm. It's just Alshon fucked up. Nick Foles was in playoff mode. Alshon dropped that ball in it.
Say it was his second drop all year.
Alshon's?
Yeah.
Something stupid like that. His catch radius was ridiculous this year.
Not as good as Hopkins.
Yeah.
It was like 94 catches before he had 1 drop.
Yeah. That's you. Do you understand? We're trying to tell you DeAndre Hopkins is the best receiver because he is. He is.
Downfield, even his curl routes and slants. If it hits his hands,
it's caught. If it hits his hands,
like
it's over.
Like Fitzgerald when he was a couple of years ago.
I wish Larry would have left Arizona to go win the championship. I'm sorry that he has to go play for that mediocre team now.
Mediocre.
Okay, abysmal. You're right. It's abysmal. It's not mediocre. Mediocre is an insult to mediocre teams. I'm having way too much fun here, and I feel like we ain't did shit. Okay, so now that I got the 3 names out of it that I wanted to have an argument as far as the best trio in sports to not win a championship. Now, we talked about this over the phone last night. I want you to go ahead and name the 3 trios that we talked about to not win a championship together. Together being the key word. And then we'll talk about it.
So first, Westbrook, Harden, KD. It's obvious. Those 3 should easily stay together.
Won some championships.
Could have done something like what the Bulls did in the 90s.
They could have been what the Warriors are now.
Exactly. Then you got, you're going to baseball. Randy Johnson, A-Rod, and Ken Griffey Jr., which in my opinion, best baseball player in history.
Okay. Arguable. Definitely arguable. Definitely arguable.
If he didn't have injuries the way he did towards the last third of his career, he would easily probably been over 700 home runs.
Sweetest swing in baseball.
And then, what was the last one? AB, Le'Veon, and Ben, like we said, is kind of discounted because injuries with Le'Veon.
Injuries. Big Ben is always going to get hurt. You had arguably, let's get to the football one because that's what sparked this debate. Yeah. You had arguably the best wide receiver in the game at the time, arguably the best running back in the game at the time, and a quarterback that's won 2 Super Bowls. All on one team together, putting up incredible numbers. Couldn't get to the big game. You got 3 young superstars in Harden, Durant, and Westbrook, who have since the split all won MVPs. Only one's won a championship, but he had to go to Golden State to do it. The other one averaged a triple-double since twice for an entire season. And the other one has just ended a point streak that's only eclipsed by Wilt Chamberlain. To me, that's the one. But I know that you got Ken Griffey, phenom out the door. One of the greatest to ever do it, period. A young A-Rod. A young A-Rod who was just oozing with talent.
He was having 50-plus bombs, hitting 310.
This is before anybody ever accused him of steroids. Even thought to accuse him of steroids. And then you had Randy Johnson throw as hard as anybody. Tall, lanky. And that was a good team. Mm-hmm. That was a great team. That team should have won the championship. I look at the 3. I know we talked about it. For me, without all 3 of them winning MVPs, I thought they should have stayed together and they would have won the championship in the next 3 years. I think that is the biggest disappointment for NBA fans because you would have had a homegrown dynasty. The Golden State Warriors never would have happened. I truly believe if you keep those 3 together, Golden State doesn't happen. Maybe they have a rivalry. Yeah. But Kevin Durant is the wild card, and he puts, that Oklahoma City team over the hump continuously, and I don't think Golden State ever beats them. Not to go to the finals.
No.
And I think that young core, that three, getting a couple of cracks at LeBron, they get him. And once they get him, it's kind of like when Michael won his first championship. Once he got his first taste, he was never losing again. You know? And I think that's what would have happened in Oklahoma City. I think they would have been a more dominant team than even Golden State is now, which we're going to get to them later. For me, that's the one I look at and say.
Yeah, I could see where you're coming with that, but for me, what I see with them, would Harden develop what he is now when he's not having the ball in his hands as much?
I think he would have developed into more of a facilitator. His level of talent, just a facilitator who can also score the ball.
But imagine with Westbrook handling the ball so much.
I think that they could have found a good balance with that. The way that they had it going at the time with Harden coming off the bench and being the leader of that second unit and kind of like that Manu Ginobili role, I think they could have did that and only had all three of them on the court and crunch time minutes.
True.
But I think you could have at any given point in time had a roster on the court or had a group of 5 on the court capable of keeping up with any team offensively. That's not something that teams have. You put your reserves in, you ask them to hold water. You got James Harden leading the second unit. You can say all you want to. He's like, he deserves better than that. And I agree with you. Yeah. But you got James Harden leading the second unit. James, put your foot on their throat. Please. And he'd go do that. Would they have reached the individual accolades that they all have? Absolutely not. Besides Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant would have got all of the notoriety. He would have got all the awards. He would have got all of that. Would Russell Westbrook have averaged a triple-double? Absolutely not. Would James Harden have this point streak? Absolutely not. Which I believe is overrated. You want to talk about my least favorite player in the NBA? It's him. Mm-hmm. But that's my championship that should have happened. It should be happening right now.
Yeah, true.
So, go ahead.
Mine was baseball with them, Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey, and A-Rod, because versus basketball, like, you can't be ball dominant in baseball. Like,
right.
You all do your part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a team sport, but if you have Griffey, A-Rod, 3-4, I don't want to pitch against them.
Right.
That's combined almost 100 home runs.
Could have been.
200 RBIs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's definite.
Then, say it's a Game 7, you got to face those two, and then have Randy Johnson thrown against you, which it wouldn't even get to a Game 7. It shouldn't have.
Right. Well.
Shouldn't have.
Right.
But you have Ken Griffey, like you said, arguably best baseball player ever.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say Babe Ruth is hands down still the best ever, in my opinion. Because he did pitch and play the field and hit.
Can we talk about that?
Go ahead.
It's almost 100 years ago.
Yeah, different era.
Are you telling me that today's athletes, if put in that situation with the same level of competition, couldn't do what Babe Ruth did? I'm just asking.
True. The only reason why I give Babe Ruth so much credit is because he did it all. It's not like, for Ken Griffey, like I said, he's my favorite player of all time, but he didn't pitch. Babe Ruth could.
Babe Ruth pitched, and he pitched very well. I'm well aware of his pitching paralysis. He pitched very well, and they saw how good he could hit, and they said, you know what? I'd rather have you doing this. That's how that happened. But you got guys like Bumgarner. You got guys like Jake Arrieta. You've got pitchers that can hit, but teams are looking at them and saying, yeah, you can hit. Stay your ass on the mound.
What's like the Angels are trying to do with Ohtani. They're letting him hit as a DH.
it's the first time in a very long time that it's even been allowed to attempt. So, yeah, I get it. Babe Ruth actually did it, and he was great on both ends of it. But how many guys have really even had the chance to try?
True.
The only reason why Ohtani is even in Anaheim is because they were the only team willing to let him try. Well, one of 3 or 4.
Which he's actually going to hit this year. I know he won't pitch.
He won't pitch, but he'll hit. It's crazy. I can see him no longer being a pitcher, especially if he has a good offensive year. So
that'll go right down the drain real quick.
Yeah, he'll be the first guy when your bullpen runs out. Ohtani, go out there.
It's the 14th inning. Get out.
Exactly. So, I hear a lot of people, like, especially baseball old heads, it's like, oh, nobody can do what Ruth did. Nobody's going to get the chance to do what Ruth did. Like, it's not talked about the fact that a 5-man rotation is new in the last 15 years. That's a new sentiment. And there are teams that sneak in a 6-man rotation in parts of the season. The Cubs do it. The Cubs sneak in a 6-man rotation. They have a bullpen day. They have their 5-man rotation, and they have their bullpen day. In the middle of the season, they do about 4 or 5 times.
Where the starter goes like 4 innings.
Right, yeah. The starter goes 3 or 4 innings, and he's out of the bullpen, and he's a bullpen arm, and then they bring the next bullpen arm in, and then the next bullpen arm in, and then they just try to survive the game. Where teams back then were going on 3-man rotations.
Which is what they do in playoff time now.
Right. And not only that, but pitchers were pitching the whole game. It wasn't a closer.
It was, if you're pitching, you're going all the way.
Right. Players have been conditioned to do less on the field. So can you blame them for doing less on the field? I don't believe so. I digress. We got to get back to our trio talk.
Either way, we're saying Steelers and their trio, they just can't be in the conversation, really. I know that was put on there by ESPN as far as they're involved in the best trio to never win. There's been other trios like that in the NFL. It's just not brought up because
I'm trying to think what's another good trio.
all the publicity right now.
Yeah, it got hyped up a lot.
Because of the AB and Le'Veon.
If Le'Veon plays this year, do they win?
5 games.
More?
No, season 5-11.
No, I'm talking. Wait.
Oh, you're saying if the Steelers win?
If Le'Veon played last year for the Steelers and didn't sit out,
Yeah.
do they win?
Win what? Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Because they didn't even make the playoffs.
I personally think the Chiefs would have beat them too.
Okay, so you think the Patriots are a better team? You think the Chiefs would have been a better team? So that puts them third. Okay. But you do believe both Griffey, A-Rod, Johnson keep that together. They could have won. And you think Harden, Durant, Westbrook keep that together.
They could have won.
The thing that upsets me the most about the basketball one, the Harden, Durant, Westbrook, you guys got to the finals, lost to a better team, a more experienced team, and a better team. You didn't even give your team the opportunity to run it back. You could have won that championship the very next year, for all you know. That was frustrating to me from that standpoint. You robbed fans of what could have been. So I guess that's it as far as that goes. So we agree to disagree, which is fine. I only got 2 more topics, and then we're gonna get the hell out of here. We're actually running at 124. I'm surprised how long we've been running. Wow. Okay. LeBron James just passed Michael Jordan for 4th all time on the scoring list. Took him 6 more seasons to do it. Not the point. This isn't LeBron versus Michael debate. But the two young stars on that team, quote unquote stars, Brandon Ingram's been shut down. Lonzo Ball's been shut down. The Lakers are out of the playoffs. I don't know if it's systematically yet, but they're not making the playoffs.
I think it's like another game or two.
With everyone on the Lakers roster being pissed off for one reason or another, is this only the beginning of the turmoil for the Lakers? Does it get better in the offseason or does it get worse?
My opinion, it's going to get better because they're just going to trade away everything that LeBron thinks is cancerous. You know that.
The problem is that everything is cancerous.
I think he'll keep Kuzma, Hart, as far as young talent. I don't know if he has as much love for Lonzo as people say, but I could see Lonzo being shipped out too.
Lonzo gonna keep faking injuries to not get traded. Yo, LeVar, we see what you're doing. Your son get hurt 2 trade talk periods in a row. Mm-hmm. We know what's going on. As soon as his name gets mentioned in trade rumors, Lonzo get hurt. And then when the deadline comes, he's good. Well, not this year. This year he shut it down, but they knew they weren't going to make the playoffs. So what's the point of coming back? But I see what you're doing, LeVar. You've taught your son well. He said he did not want to go to New Orleans.
Nope.
I look at it, and that's not a bad list of players to say to keep, but the Pelicans have made it really clear you're not going to get Anthony Davis.
They offered the whole roster.
Yeah. And some of those pieces that are really valuable that you offered, you can't offer in offseason because they're going to be free agents.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Why do you think LeBron had a team full of upcoming free agents in All-Star Weekend?
Oh. You know what, Russ? Why don't you go over there and play with Embiid? I know that's your buddy. Let me talk to Ben Simmons for a little bit. If the NBA don't fine LeBron for all this tampering that he is doing during All-Star Weekend,
called it out too.
As he should have. That's why I love Giannis. You know what? Giannis is top 3 of my favorite players. He better show up in the playoffs this year. But I look at what the Lakers have. They have nothing of value to offer the Pelicans that's going to make them come off of Anthony Davis. They've already offered that. Now, granted, they have a new GM in the building whose job is specifically to make sure that they don't get fucked on the deal for Anthony Davis. But I'm also pretty sure this hasn't been talked about, that a part of that is don't trade him to the Lakers. So with that, how do the Lakers get better this offseason?
Tell you what, Magic's going to have to come out of his bag with this one. Who do you get rid of?
Honestly?
Do you trade LeBron?
I heard that.
That's been a rumor for
I heard
days.
I heard Van Gundy say that. Shut up. I get it. He is still a top 3 player in the league. I don't know if I can say he's the best player in the league anymore.
What's crazy is you didn't say the best player.
Versus
the past couple of years, it's been no hesitation.
I don't know if I could say that because the best player in the league makes playoffs. He missed 20 games.
In a crucial time.
In a very crucial time. They were the 4 seed when he got hurt. Maybe he is still the best player in the league, but he's not interested. He's not interested in basketball
he's
right now.
not showing the same, especially when Kuzma's pushing him on defense.
Yeah. He's getting old, man. Old man LeBron. This is what you're seeing. You've got Kyrie, who is noticeably unhappy in Boston and keeps saying things to make people believe he is gone. You've got Kawhi in Toronto, who I'm believing more and more might stay.
Yeah, he's starting to. No, he doesn't smile. He was smiling the other day.
Yeah.
He's actually like having fun, it seems like.
They get to the finals, they got a legitimate shot at keeping him. That should be their main focus for Toronto. Get to the finals, you might keep Kawhi. You won't win the championship this year, but you get to keep Kawhi, which in long term is the best thing for you because you could win it next year, and we'll talk about that. Who else is a free agent this year? You got Klay Thompson, you got Draymond, you got Kevin Durant.
Damn, LeBron's entire All-Star team.
Yeah, he pieced this together. You got Boogie. There's a lot of guys. You got Jimmy. There's a lot of guys that you could get into the room in LA and say you should play for the Lakers because I'm Magic Johnson and he's LeBron James.
And this is LA.
And this is LA. This is purple and gold. Mm-hmm. You want to talk to Kobe? He'll come here too. Not to play. He'll talk to you though. They have to land one.
They need a big, two maybe.
I think for them, they need shooters. I don't know what they were doing this offseason by not getting shooters on that team, trying to build this new type of offense to combat the Warriors, stop trying to outshoot the Warriors. What they tried didn't work. It doesn't look good at all. It's ugly basketball. I've watched it enough times. I'm good.
Well, Lance skipping around playing the guitar?
If I see Lance Stevenson on my YouTube feed one more time, I'm deleting the app. I am. If I hear one more person talk about Lance and Lonzo dropping a rap album, if you don't get me a Damian Lillard track on the feed right now, I don't think that what the Lakers have to do is an easy fix, and I think they got to clean house. Everybody but LeBron has to go, including Kuzma, including Hart. All those guys have to go.
Not Andre Ingram, though.
Andre, what?
The guy for the 10-day contract.
If you don't send him back to the G League right now, no one cares. I don't need a feel good story for the Lakers. This is the Lakers we're talking about.
What's funny is, what team did they show up against last night?
Oh my God. I didn't even watch. I refuse to watch.
When LeBron's laughing and jumping around, you know he's having fun.
Mm-hmm. He can only do that against the Bulls. Only the Bulls. Trash. The Bulls, the Bulls have not surprised me in anything that they've done. They've beat the Celtics. They've beat the Sixers. They've lost to LeBron. You could beat LeBron and lose those other two games. I'd be perfectly happy. But I knew you were going to lose. I knew you were going to beat the 76ers. Why? Because Jimmy's in town. Zach LaVine had no intention on taking that game.
Nope.
None.
Dropped 39.
Dropped 39. Won at 40. You could tell he won at the 40. Jimmy Butler was pissed. Pissed. He didn't want to come back out for that half second that he had to come back out for. He's like, we can't even get shot up. Why am I doing this? I think that there's enough free agents out there, but will they come to LA and are they willing to deal with LeBron? The only one that I think that's going to look at that situation and say, I'm willing to play ball is Kyrie.
Because he's done it before.
Because he's done it before, and he hates the situation that he's in now. And he remembers, I had to win. I had to, deal with LeBron, but we won. Mm-hmm. He doesn't like his situation that he's in Boston, and he's about to not win. Those players all believe that they are better without him.
Because they were proving it last year, too, the way they were playing together.
Their record is better they have a better win percentage without Kyrie. When Kyrie doesn't play at all, they have a better win percentage than when he does play.
When Scary Terry is the point guard.
Right. That whole team believes that they can win without him. So what does that mean happens? The players tune him out when he tries to coach them up and tries to, be the leader. Mm-hmm. He is undoubtedly the best player on that team. And as the best player on that team, when nobody on the team is listening to you because they think they're better without you, I'm getting the fuck out of there. You got to.
And why not go back to LeBron where you know you're going to win? Those two can win no matter where they play together.
You think LeBron still got enough left in the tank to win? Like a championship.
He needs help. Can't do it with Kuzma.
No.
Can't do it with Josh Hart.
Those are good young pieces, and I think that the Lakers were on their way to something really good, but no. No. Who do you think is the best fit to go to LA?
Other than Kyrie?
Yeah.
Still Anthony Davis.
I don't see it happening. I don't think he's going to end up there when he's a free agent. I think that a team is going to make a trade for him this offseason, and that's where he's going to stay.
Could be like a sign-in trade.
I think it's going to be a very Paul George-like move. He's going to get to there. It's going to be a good situation, and he's going to realize this is what I wanted. This is where I want to be.
You got to give out to Paul George this year, too?
Yeah, after saying this is where I want to be, and I think we can win here, he's on his side of it, proved it. The team has proved it. They're a phenomenal defensive team. That team has been addition by subtraction, and you know who I'm talking about. Westbrook has done Westbrook things. Paul George has become the best offensive option on that team, and Westbrook has succumbed to that. He's saying, I give in. You are the best offensive option. I will do everything else if I have to. And he has. And he's done that. He's done everything, period, for years. But now he doesn't have to be the guy that they look at for the last second shot. And PG is starting to make those last second shots, which before this year, he's made a big goose egg. The Gatorade commercial was a lie. I didn't want to buy Gatorades until now. So that's the Anthony Davis thing. Do you think there's legitimately a chance Clay goes there to LA?
Why would you leave the Warriors?
If KD leaves, do you want to stay?
Nope.
This all falls on KD. KD is the domino. When he falls, everything else falls in place. And that's for the entire league.
They can get defended. You know Draymond can't, well, he can shoot, but...
You leave Draymond wide open. Look, KD there or not.
You'll live and die by his three ball versus letting Clay and Curry get off a look.
On that team, KD there or not, Draymond is going to get left wide open. He is. For three, he's going to. If KD leaves, and I think he will, do the rest of those guys come together and say, look, we've won a championship without KD. We can win the championship without him again? Or does everybody decide to say, we had a good run?
Or does Golden State talk about what they tried, was it earlier in the season, and go after Anthony Davis?
At some point, Adam Silver has to step in.
Just saying.
Say enough.
They mentioned it before they were getting Boogie that they were going to get Anthony Davis.
Yeah. I do remember that. Damn. You lose AD and Boogie and you plug in Anthony Davis. Does that work?
What if Curry's just like, oh yeah, alley-oop to AD instead of shooting the three? Because they're going to be going after Curry. Quick dump to AD, it's real easy.
Steph Curry is quietly averaging 28 points a game. I don't think anybody
That's
realizes
what happens
that.
when Durant's averaging, 27?
Yeah, he's averaging like 26, 27. Curry's averaging 28. The babyface assassin is back in full effect. Just nobody wants to talk about it because they're having a horrible season.
I'm just saying it's easy when you got two shooters like that.
Three,
yeah. Because Boogie's somehow.
I was talking Clay.
But no, I'm saying two surrounding him.
Oh, yeah.
As in Clay and Durant.
Oh, yeah.
If you're saying three, Boogie's been hitting threes
Yeah,
now too.
Boogie's been hitting threes now too. He's the third Splash Brother, don't you know?
Yeah, he said on Team USA, in 2016?
Yeah, 16. He's the third Splash Brother. He's been trying to tell y'all.
Gross.
Disgusting, honestly. But I'm going to transition, segue, as one might say. Are the Warriors really in trouble in not making the finals? Do we really believe that? They're number one seed in the West.
Nope.
They keep losing to Houston for some reason. I think they play Houston this weekend, if not tonight. I think it's tonight.
I think it's tonight.
Yeah. They're probably playing them right now. To keep losing to Houston. Steve Kerr is apparently tired of Draymond's shit. Is this the year that they stumble? Because I tell you this, they don't win a championship this year, everybody's gone. Everybody not named Steph Curry is gone.
All I'm saying is we said the same thing last year when they struggled a little bit. Like, oh, that's the end of them.
I never believe that's what
I'm
that.
saying. I'm not believing it now.
I never believed that, and I don't really believe it now. I think that
they flipped the switch going to the playoffs last year.
I think they're bored. They're bored now. I mean, they've won 9 straight, so they're not that bored. But I think that they're bored. They're ready for the playoffs. They're guaranteeing themselves that the 1 seed this year because they tried. You know, they did it because they were bored last year, and they said, "Let's see what happens when we don't have home field throughout." And it's like, all right, we had a little test, Game 7 in Houston. That was cool. We won it. Whatever. Now,
what, Houston missed 27 straight threes or something?
That is horrendous again. This is nasty. They want the 1 seed. They want the 1 seed because I don't think they want to go through that doubt. I don't think they like being in that spot because they're not a good pressure team.
You're thinking about Milwaukee's record too, because if they have the better record than Golden State, pretty sure they get home court advantage.
Let me tell you something. As much as I like Giannis, and I've enjoyed watching Milwaukee play, it's not going to get to a Game 7 if they play Golden State in the finals. Let me tell you how far and above better Golden State is.
Go 5 games.
5. 6 if Giannis goes off.
Twice.
Let me tell you how far and away above better the Warriors are. LeBron went ultimate warrior mode and couldn't get a game against this team last year. And then they added Boogie Cousins. So what do you do with that? They're bored. The playoffs are going to come. The switch is going to flip.
It's over.
They're going to be bombing away threes until everybody starts to wave the white flag. They're going to get to the finals. They're going to play either Milwaukee or Toronto because I don't think Boston is going to get over the hump. I stopped believing in Philly. They're going to win a championship, and then it's going to be decision time for half of that team that matters. Mm-hmm. Boogie's gone. I don't even think they're going to give him an option.
Get a ring and get out. Get paid.
Boogie's not even thinking about staying. They're not thinking about him staying. That was a 1-year marriage, and they both agreed to it. It's like, we're going to give this 1 year, and then we're going to split ways. So Boogie's gone automatically. I don't even think that's a thought. KD is probably going to leave. Where he's going to go, I have no idea. But KD is probably going to leave because he's finicky like that.
Yep.
Clay's dad has been in his ear for the last 2 years talking about you should go play for LA. And Draymond is convinced that he's a max contract player. So that leaves the babyface assassin to hit as many threes as he wants for the rest of his life. Because you can guard him, you can triple team Steph Curry all you want to. He's still going to make that 3. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be as fun, but you'll get a Steph Curry that can average 35 points a game.
Oh, hands down. If they all leave, he's easily averaging that much.
They'll give him that for a season. Like, you know what, Steph, just go all out. Go video game mode. Do what James Harden is doing now. Because let me tell you something. They're trying to scale back James Harden now as far as like his scoring and like what he does for the team. It's too late. You already got 40-something games of him doing this. He's burnt. He's going to get burnt out. And when it happens in the first round of the playoffs and you don't even make it to a matchup with the Warriors, I'm blaming D'Antoni. It's time to fire him. It is time to fire Mike D'Antoni. I am tired of parading Mike D'Antoni around as a good coach. He's not. He's not a good coach at all. Learn defense. You have players that play defense. You are not a defensive coach. You do not know how to defensively scheme, and you need that to win a championship. One thing that is not talked about with the Warriors is they are a top 5 defensive team. They are. You have to play on both sides if you want to win a championship. I feel like now we're just going back and forth over NBA playoff teams and what I think, and my hatred for James Harden is starting to show even more. Any comments on that?
Not really. I mean, you know what you're going to get. Warriors are going to flip that switch and it's over with.
I just flipped the switch. Okay. That's all I got for topics today. Anything else that you think we missed? Did we go over all our topics on the list?
That's all that's been going on lately. NFL free agency really hit the fan last night.
Definitely. I'm going to keep an eye out. I try to not look at my phone when we're doing a podcast. So if any news broke while we were recording, I apologize. We'll get it next week. That's all I know how to say. As far as Smack Talk Player of the Week, do you have one? I know you know the format of this show.
What are you thinking?
Who am I giving Player of the Week to?
Yeah.
I actually didn't have one. But if I had to pick, I'm actually going to give it to LeBron. Passing Michael Jordan for fourth all-time on the scoring list is a big deal. Now all that's left in front of him are guys that have worn the purple and gold jersey. You've got Kobe, Karl Malone, and Kareem. All have donned the Lakers jersey, which is disgusting to me. Makes me a little sick to my stomach.
I got one a little bit different, though. We didn't talk about it at all. College basketball. Jay Morant.
Okay.
With Murray State. Pretty sure their conference championship was this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Pushed them all the way through again. And he dropped 36 in a championship game.
That's huge. Huge for college. Time to go dancing. And next week we will be talking
March Madness is
March
right
Madness.
around the corner.
Yeah. Selection Sundays this Sunday.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Selection Sunday is this Sunday. So please believe we are coming next week with our brackets. And there is some smack talk that Joe is going to undoubtedly get off with me and this bet. I lost. Whatever. I'm going to see if I can get him to double or nothing.
He will. 1,000,000%.
I'm invested again. Let's go. So this has been another episode of Smack Talk, Leave It on the Court. I want to thank everybody again for the support you guys have showed us. Shout out to my boy Damn It Donnie. He hit me on Twitter last night when all the fuckery was happening in free agency, talking about where's the show. Y'all been slacking. Yes, I know I've been slacking, but we are back. Donnie, I hear you. I appreciate everybody that gives me shit when we miss a week for episodes, because it just reminds me that there are people listening, and I appreciate you guys. If you enjoy what we do here, please share it with your friends. Stream the shit out of it. It's greatly appreciated. We have fun doing this, and Brian, I appreciate you coming in and sitting down with us, sitting down with me. Love to have you back.
Check my spam for the invite.
Little do people know we still have a setup for 4 people. Your spam for the invite? Come on now. I'm going to call you. We have a setup for 4 mics. So if y'all want smoke, let me know, please. I bring on all challengers. I do. This is Smack Talk, Leave It on the Court. I want to talk some smack. So with that, I'm out of things to say. I appreciate you guys again for listening. This has been another episode of Smack Talk, Leave It on the Court. Good night.